But I do like to talk. I like to tell the stories behind the fragrances. I really do.
Hey Matthew.
Hey.
How are you, man?
Good. It's weird being in front of a camera, but I'm good.
Well, thank you so much for coming in and doing this. I really appreciate it. For those of you that don't know you, you're Matthew Meleg and you're a perfumer.
Self-taught perfumer here in Canada, and
Yeah.
I think there's about 4 of us or something like that. So
Being a fragrance lover, this is such a great honor to have you in, and I love your fragrances. All of the ones that I smell, they're all, the thing about your fragrances is they seem to be not just unique, they're unique to you and to your life, and they have kind of a story that they tell, which is why I really wanted you to come in and hear it from your mouth, you know?
yeah, they're kind of, they're like diary entries, I would have to say. A long time ago, I studied fine arts and painting and stuff like that, but it wasn't technical enough. Now I sound like a snob, but I like the technical aspects of perfumery, and yeah, every perfume I make, it's kind of like a diary entry or a way of making sense of the world, something like that. If that makes sense, I don't know. I feel strange being under the spotlight.
Well, I'll make you relax for a second, because I'm going to get you to close your eyes and stick out your hands, because I have 2 of your fragrances here, and this is Portrait of a Fragrance. So before I take your photo, I'm going to spray 2 of your own fragrances on you. I'm going to spray it on your left wrist. Okay. And I'm going to spray one on your right wrist.
So 2 different ones.
2 different ones, absolutely 2 different ones. And there. And great, you can let those settle. You can open your eyes. It
would be really funny if I didn't recognize which of my perfumes.
This is the true test. Let's see how signature these scents are. Go ahead and spray that one.
Okay, so the one on my left, this is the Golden Guy perfume.
Yes, it is.
And the one on my right, this is Mushin. Okay,
yes,
so we've got 2 Japanese sisters with us.
Well, that was quick. Thanks for coming out. Okay, so you got them both right. But I want to, let's start. Can we start on the left? I picked these 2 because I think the names are very interesting. And Golden Guy is spelled G-A-I, which I'm guessing is Japanese.
Yeah. So the Golden Guy in Japanese is Golden Gai, which means golden street. And it was a place that I used to hang out in Tokyo. It's unfathomably large anyways. Every station, the city is broken up into train stations, and one of the stations is the Shinjuku station. And here you have the world's largest red light district. And that's out of the east exit of this train station. And then within that world's largest light district, red light district, you have the Golden Gai, which is Tokyo's old black market. Long story short, I used to hang out there, and it's like it's like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of bars, maybe thousands. And every bar can seat like 7 different people. It's a place with like all sorts of artists and musicians and photographers like yourself and film buffs, and it's a really kind of artsy-fartsy place. But what makes it unique is every bar has a completely different theme. So you start off in the evening, it's like complete debauchery, it's like hedonism, like, you know. Okay, so how does this relate to the perfume? Actually, what's in the perfume is Chambord liqueur. The Chambord is a type of very jammy, sweet blackberry and blueberries jam. I bought a bunch of pipe tobacco and tinctured literally like the leaves, the pipe tobacco in this very sweet liqueur because I wanted to capture the hedonism, and in Japan you can still smoke at the bars. A lot of the hostesses, they're not prostitutes. They're just really nice and very revealing, and that's an entirely different story. But they love the sweet drinks. So very often I would like kind of like wake up at 4:30 in the morning with my head like on the counter, and I would smell like apricot, like liqueur and syrupy drinks, and mixed with all this tobacco. And that's exactly what my Golden Guy smells like. It smells like a very sweet tobacco. I'm one of the few perfumers that uses real tobacco. Nobody's gotten sick yet, so that's good.
My dad smoked a pipe and that smell, but that smells very different than any tobacco fragrances that I have or own.
Yeah,
and that's the real leaf.
Because it's real tobacco, yeah. So it's a very boozy tobacco fragrance. That's my golden guy.
All right, now what's the tie-in with Mushin then on your right?
Oh, okay. So this is a crazy girl here. This is golden guy, and then this is Mushin. Mushin is a Japanese incense. So I should probably say, I live in, or did I already say, I lived in Japan for a decade.
Right.
And I explored and loved all sorts of different aspects of Japanese culture. So many different, there are so many different Japans, just like there's so many different Canadas or Americas, right? A multiplicity of subcultures and people with different interests. And the opposite of Golden Guy would be the austere, very conservative city of Kyoto. I created the Mushin, which means like blank mind. It's like a meditative state. Yeah, this has real sandalwood in it and real agar wood, but Japanese style agar wood. It's not animalic or musky at all. This Mushin is a very clean incense, and I brought a whole load of incense from Kyoto back to Canada in my last trip, and I just recreated this incense. So my perfumes aren't really inspired by other people's perfumes. I'm more inspired by artisanship. So the Kyoto type smell is actually the balance between the sandalwood, the cloves, the agar wood, and orris root powder. So it's like 4 main elements, and you have to get them balanced correctly. And this is a typical Kyoto style temple incense. So this perfume right here, what you smell, you'll smell this all over Kyoto when you're wandering through. Like the city's got like 2,000 temples and gardens, and
I've heard it's very beautiful, and I think it was one of the only places during the war that wasn't ever bombed. Is that true?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. MacArthur liked Kyoto so much. It's a UNESCO heritage place.
So it's more conservative than more traditional. As we think of Japan in North America, when we think of Japan, we think of those temples, that incense.
Yes.
This conservative, this withheld kind of restraint. The opposite, I guess, of Golden Guy.
Yeah, the opposite of Golden Guy. Very different. There's not much. There is a certain degree of debauchery going on everywhere, even in Kyoto, right? The Japanese do like to party. But what I really extracted from my experience in Kyoto was I really appreciated the artisanship. The people of Kyoto are so dedicated to the perfection of their art, and there is a style of food, a style of clothing, a style of dress, a style of mannerism, even the speech and the language of the people there, it's different from the rest of Japan. So it's this very high culture, and it takes years and years to really understand it. But anyways.
Well, that's amazing. Thank you for sharing those stories and background. I'm not at all impressed that you nailed both of them immediately, because of course these are like, how do you regard these, like pieces of art, or how would you regard your own perfumes?
How would I regard my own perfumes?
Yeah, how do you think of them?
To be honest, I find it as it's a necessity for me to make them. I don't want to get too deep into it, but for years and years and years, I struggled with pretty serious mental illness. And I got on the medication and changed my way of thinking, and putting language and words to scent, which I think your series of videos, that's primarily what it's about, how people put language to scent. Mm-hmm. This exercise of putting language to scent, it's a long story, but it's really helped me make sense of the world. So for me, it's really like a diary entry.
Which is why in this episode of Portrait of a Fragrance, we're going to be changing it to Portrait of a Perfumer, just for you, because this is the first you're the first perfumer I've shot, which is amazing. And so rather than having you hold up a bottle of fragrance, I think that in this case, the product here is you. I think you're the bottle, and I think that all of the notes and aromas and accords that are in you that you shared with everybody through your work, thankfully, that's what I want to capture. So in essence, if you're ready, I'd love to shoot a portrait of a perfumer.
Okay, yeah, absolutely.